Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. This video is for the upcoming full moon in Aries. It is a supermoon, and from what I've heard from astrologers, it's going to be a very intense full moon because of all the aspects that are going on at this time. I started working on this video a few days ago because I've been finding the energies a bit difficult to handle lately, and that's also the reason I haven't uploaded anything recently. I just haven't felt energetically right. I have noticed that the YouTube algorithm doesn't like me taking a longer break, but I'm not going to push myself to do something if I'm not energetically in a good place. Algorithm schmalgorithm. I personally feel that the quality of what I'm putting out is much more important than just uploading things to keep an algorithm happy. So in terms of how I've been feeling stressed and angry, which is definitely not normal for me. I'm normally a pretty calm person. And I think this might be because I do have a lot of Aries placements in my natal chart. I have my Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in Aries. And I also have my North Node in Libra, which obviously puts my South Node in Aries too. So I think this current nodal axis has been activating for me, and obviously this being a full moon in Aries, it's also activating for me. And I'm also thinking about how Lilith has been in Libra and how it was recently conjunct the South Node. I think that was pretty activating for me too. So what I've been feeling, I've definitely been feeling a strong need to get away from people and experiences that are wanting and expecting me to be someone that I'm not. That kind of thing seems particularly triggering for me right now. And so there are even family members and friends that I don't really want to connect with right now. Now, I don't know if this is a collective experience as well, so do let me know in the comments if you're feeling that way as well. I've noticed that one of my sons is also reacting quite strongly anytime that we're asking him to do things that he's not especially wanting to do. He's almost a teenager, so it's perhaps not all that unusual, but it definitely seems a little bit more than normal. And he's also a bit more tired than he normally is, and I feel like I'm that way as well. So I wonder if he's having a similar experience to me as well. Now, it is possible things will keep intensifying as we get closer to this super full moon, and that's why I did start working on this one early. I just wanted to work on it slowly before things got more intense. I think if things do get more intense, my plan is actually just to hermit myself away from the world, because I don't want to be taking it out on other people if I'm not feeling good. I've already sort of intentionally withdrawn from things a little bit just so I can have more time on my own to do some grounding and to process any feelings that are coming up. So you might want to do similar things if you're going through the same sort of thing, because obviously it really isn't nice to take it out on other people. So yeah, in terms of other things that will also help, drink lots of water, write out your feelings, do some guided meditations, listen to uplifting music, go outside for walks. All of that will help. I actually had a day where I got so stressed out that I pulled into the shopping centre car park, and even though I was supposed to go in and grab some groceries, I decided I would take 10 minutes to calm myself down in the car before I went in. So I found some Tibetan sound bowl music on YouTube. I put that on, and then I sat in the car with my eyes closed and just did some breathing. And it honestly made such a huge difference. And the reason I'm sharing that is that sometimes we get so stressed and we just feel like we need to keep pushing ourselves. But even a 10-minute break can make an enormous difference. And of course, when you do something like that, it does reset your energy. And I did find the rest of the day went much more smoothly. So if you need to take a break to reset your energy, make that break a priority. You can take a 10-minute break and still accomplish everything you need to get done. In fact, that reset you've given yourself can mean you are in a much better state of mind to do whatever's left on your to-do list. Now, I wasn't expecting to go into that here on the first slide, but I do always just go with the flow. I guess maybe it needed to be said early. And actually, I know for a fact that some people click off before they get to the second slide. So maybe that's why I did need to share that information here on the first slide. So yeah, if you're going to click off, you can definitely click off now. For everyone who's sticking around, we might just do our love pause now. For new viewers, this is where we pause the video and intentionally send some loving energy out into the universe. We can also do a quick Ho'oponopono prayer, which is where we say the 4 sentences: thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, and please forgive me. The time to pause is now, and I'll see you all on the next slide. So as always, I will start with the astrology of the full moon and then look at the tarot and oracle card spread for the full moon. Now, I often find the astrology and tarot do connect, but if you're not at all into astrology, you can skip straight on to the tarot reading. I will have timestamps listed in the description box for each section of the presentation. So this is the astrological chart for this full moon. It looks a bit crazy chaotic in the center, doesn't it, with all the lines running all over it. And it's funny because when I first laid out all the tarot cards, there was my first thought there was that the spread looked kind of chaotic as well. So you'll see what I mean there. Actually, you've probably already seen the cards because of the thumbnail for this video. But anyway, I guess with both this and that, I'm going to say that the energies of this full moon are going to be chaotic. So again, I'm going to say hermiting, grounding, and self-care are going to be a great way to get through this. And I think it's going to be important to be intentional about it because these energies are affecting the collective. And the fact is that the collective is all of us. And so the more of us that are doing what we can to not let the energies derail us, the less affected the collective will be. So please consider that it is important that we're all doing our part. Now, I've actually just noticed the nodal axis on this chart, and it's pretty much exactly opposing my natal nodal axis. So here we have North Node at 5 degrees Aries and South Node at 5 degrees Libra. My natal North Node is 6 degrees Libra and my natal South Node is 6 degrees Aries. So it definitely makes sense that I'm already feeling this. And actually, when you think about it, the nodal axis travels retrograde. So it actually crosses 6 degrees before it gets to 5 degrees. So I can see something there already. Now, that chaotic energy at the center is because there are a lot of planetary aspects. So I don't think I'm going to punish myself and punish you by trying to interpret all of it. I'm mostly going to talk about the full moon and the planets aspecting it. I might also point out some of these other aspects, but rather than go in depth with that, I might just point out if planets are working together, so conjunctions, trines, sextiles, or if they're not working together, so or opposing each other or at odds with each other, which would be the oppositions and the squares. So let's get started. The blue highlighted band crossing the chart is the full moon axis with the moon on the left side at 24 degrees of Aries and the sun on the right side at 24 degrees of Libra. And that point is also personally going to be significant because I have, as I said, Mercury, Venus, Mars in Aries. I also have Jupiter in Gemini and Saturn in Leo, and they're all between 21 and 27 degrees of these signs. So they're all going to be aspected by this full moon. I guess my personal discomfort in the lead up to this full moon definitely makes sense. But anyway, I'll get back to the chart. So in light blue, next to that full moon axis, I have got Chiron retrograde in Aries. So that's conjunct the moon. But I've also, towards the bottom of the chart in light blue, got Jupiter retrograde in Gemini because that is sextiling the moon and Chiron and it's trining the sun. So this is a supportive aspect. It's a supporting aspect because obviously a conjunction is good and a trine and a sextile is also good. So Chiron was a healer, but he was also a highly revered teacher because he was very wise, very skilled in multiple fields. So that being conjunct to this full moon is really good. And Jupiter is also really good. It's a benefic planet. It's associated with wisdom, knowledge, expansion, and luck. And these two are both in retrograde, so they are operating on an internal level. So I think this is a really good aspect to have for this full moon. I just feel like this means that we have within us the wisdom and maturity to work through whatever is brought up for us. And you would expect things to be brought up because this is a full moon, and they're often about illumination, clarity, revelation. So there might be things that come up for us to see, feel, and experience. And so this Chiron Jupiter involvement is good. Highlighted in green are Mars in Cancer towards the bottom of the chart and Pluto in Capricorn up towards the top of the chart. Now, Mars is the ruler of this full moon because it rules Aries. But because of what we've got going on here, so we've got the Sun and the Moon in cardinal signs, and then Mars and Pluto are in the other two cardinal signs, and they're the points they're at are within 5 degrees of this 24-degree lunar axis. So that means we have what we have here is a cross. It's known as a cardinal grand cross in astrology. And that's always a challenging formation because the cardinal signs are energies that want to initiate things and do things their way. And here they are, all at odds with each other, forming oppositions and squares to each other. And in addition to that, Mars is considered a malefic planet, which means it can bring more challenges. And as I've mentioned before, Cancer is not a good sign for Mars to be in. Now, Pluto is not technically malefic, but it is a planet that wants things to change. And in this configuration, it's the most powerful planet here. And Pluto, if you've been keeping up, it's gone direct now. So it's no longer about internal transformation. If it's trying to make things change, it's trying to make things change in the external world. And as we've talked about before, Pluto is at the 29-degree point of Capricorn, which is the anaretic degree of Capricorn. It's almost finished with a Capricorn, and that's something we've talked about for a while as well. So the next degree point for Pluto is 0 degrees of Aquarius, and that will mark the beginning of a 20-year period where Pluto is in Aquarius. So for many of us, this is the last time Pluto will be in an Earth sign. And therefore, in terms of big transformations in our physical realities, this is it. So these last few weeks of Pluto in Capricorn will mean certain things become finalized. So check out your own birth chart and see where 29 degrees of Capricorn is. The astrological house that point is in will reveal where your life has been transforming since 2008 when Pluto first entered Capricorn. You'll probably look at it and see that there have been a lot of changes, or maybe there have been a lot of times where there was intense pressure to change, and the only way to relieve that pressure was by making a certain change. And that's definitely been my experience. Pluto has been in my first and second houses, and so it's been about who I am and what I value. And I know that a lot has changed in those areas. So, but before every big change in my physical reality, I did find there was this big build-up of pressure. And after a while, I started to see it as being like a rebirth. I mean, who you are and what you value is you becoming someone different, isn't it? So I started to see it as maybe like a baby being born through the birth canal, and how there are all those contractions which are just meant to squeeze and push that baby a little further along with each contraction. And that's obviously, birth is obviously a slow and painful process, but over time it is the process that leads to a baby being born. And so once I had this mental picture, I realized that I really shouldn't fight the pressure. I shouldn't fight the process. And so I started to just think every time that pressure built up, this is the next contraction, and it's pushing me to do something. It's pushing me to make some change. And so once I got this, understanding, I just tried to go with it. And I did always find that if I made the right choices and took the right actions, that pressure would ease, because I'd obviously got to the point that I was meant to get to. So maybe, I don't know what area of life this is affecting you, but you might have had that similar experience of just every now and then the pressure would just really build and it was making you change something. Now, getting back to that cardinal grand cross, it's a big thing, but I can see so many other aspects here. Like if you look at the center of this chart, there are so many little patterns that have formed. But like I said, I can't really cover all of it, so I'll just focus on what I can see as significant. I've got 3 planets highlighted in yellow. So Venus in Scorpio is at the top of the chart, and it is sextiling that Pluto in Capricorn, which is also at the top of the chart in green. And so that's a nice sextile. Venus is also at the anaretic degree of Scorpio. So if Pluto is trying to make changes happen, it's actually working favorably with our feminine polarity within us. And Venus is also in Scorpio, which is a Pluto-ruled sign. So they're definitely working well together. Across from Venus, forming an opposition to Venus, is Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And I've highlighted that in yellow as well. Now, Uranus is about the unexpected and it's operating internally. So maybe there will be some unexpected insights that are a little bit jarring. And the third planet highlighted in yellow is Neptune at the left of the chart. It's retrograde in Pisces. And it is trining, it's actually trining both Venus and Mars, which was the planet highlighted in green at the bottom of the chart. So it's trining both our masculine and feminine elements, but it's also in that divine interplay where it's sextiling Uranus and Pluto in a minor grand trine. Now these are all favorable aspects, and so Neptune is definitely heavily involved in this at this full moon, and it's having a positive impact with all of this. It's influencing, as I said, our masculine and feminine aspects, as well as influencing those two other powerful outer planets. And Neptune is retrograde, so this is an internal influence. Now, Uranus retrograde, which is the yellow one towards the bottom of the chart, is also sextiling Mars, which is our masculine element. So if there are these surprise insights, I think we'll understand the actions that are required, because Mars is obviously our masculine element, and that's the one that will take action. So I think really they were the things that I really wanted to cover here. But if I've missed anything significant, please forgive me. There was just so much going on in this chart. But the thing I wanted to say is, while there are challenging aspects here, there are actually a lot of other aspects where planets are supporting each other very well. And I feel like that means we are going to be able to ride these energies. So whatever is activated and however chaotic things might get, trust that you also have within you the wisdom and the ability to navigate those energies. There is just a lot of support in this chart that is coming from Jupiter, Chiron, and Neptune, and all of them are in retrograde right now, working internally, and I think that's a really good thing. I just feel like there might be chaotic energies and experiences outside of us, but then there are also these influences within us that are able to moderate and modulate those experiences. Now, here's where it gets a little interesting. For those of you who don't know, I channel when I write. And when I was writing all my notes for the astrology section, I did go off on a tangent, and I didn't realize it at the time. I was writing a lot of things, and when I was reading through it later, I realized that it wasn't directly related to the astrology at all. It was basically a channeled message. It was very detailed, but for the purposes of this full moon video, I will try and simplify it. I just don't know if it actually relates to this full moon or if it's just something that needed to come through at this time. So it could have something to do with Pluto's last few weeks in Capricorn, is my feeling. But anyway, the channeled message was very much focusing on how some people are very well prepared for the possibility of unexpected upheavals, and some people never prepare for anything. And in this channeled message, there were lots and lots of examples of this. There were things about people who have emergency savings, people who have properly insured themselves and their homes, people who have well-stocked pantries and spare cash at home. There were just so many examples in relation to how well prepared some people are. But with all of that, there was the sense that there are plenty of people out there who aren't prepared at all for anything that might go wrong. And let's face it, things can go wrong at any time. You could have a job loss, an illness, there could be a death in the family, there could be a natural disaster, there could be some kind of financial calamity. And when I was reading through what I channeled, it was all quite intense, and I really got the sense of people who are better prepared will be much less impacted when something goes wrong than people who aren't prepared. And so I did get that sense that maybe there are going to be things that are unexpected and that my guides just wanted me to share this with the people who are watching this video. So I don't know if this is for all of us or for some of us, but I'm going to say that this is a good time to maybe get more prepared if you are someone who is not particularly well prepared. So you could maybe withdraw some cash so that you have some at home. You could buy some extra groceries so that you've got some extra food in your pantry. You could start saving if you're not that good at that. Have a look at your insurance, and if you aren't insured, you might want to consider getting some insurance. And oh yeah, I almost forgot, debt actually came up as well. So I think if you can pay off credit cards or make extra repayments on your loans, that would be really good as well. So yeah, I really don't know what all of this is about, but I'm just remembering that we had the GFC when Pluto was finishing up in Sagittarius, and now Pluto is finishing up in Capricorn. So maybe maybe there's something to that. Maybe there is some other big shake-up that might come. Right, so these are the cards for our tarot spread. If you're interested in the decks I've used, they'll be listed on the slide at the end of the reading. As I've mentioned, I always start by pulling the oracle cards, and it was so interesting to start with take action and then fire spirit energy. And I was thinking, gosh, 2 Aries cards already. But then the rest of the spread really didn't continue that theme. That I don't see any Aries in the rest of the cards. So it was just so interesting to get those first 2 cards out. Now, I do often find that these more intense full moons and new moons do tend to have one or more major arcana energies at the bottom of the deck, and that definitely happened again. At the bottom of the deck today, we have the Lovers card, and the Strength card was right behind the Lovers card. These cards relate to Gemini, which is mutable air energy, and Leo, which is fixed fire energy, so lots of masculine energy here. Now, this Lovers card is one that has 3 characters on it, and I find most Lovers cards have 2 individuals and an angel usually. There's just one other deck I have where the Lovers card has 3 characters on it. Sorry, the deck I was mentioning is the Dark Mansion Tarot. And actually, I haven't used that deck for a while, so with Halloween coming up, maybe I will do a reading with that deck. Thanks, Spirit. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that for some reason that Lovers card is also, wanting to be in my mind. So it might have some relevance to this reading as well. So I will try and find an image of the Lovers card from the Dark Mansion Tarot, and I might just add it to this slide because I just feel like it could have an extra message for this reading. Okay, so this is a new slide. I've just put that image of the extra Lovers card on here, and it's interesting, the colors seem to fit very well with the 2 cards to the left of it, and I'm sort of taking that as a sign that I was meant to do this. Now I'll just leave it sitting there and channel the rest of the reading, and I'm just going to see if it comes up again because I'm not sure how it relates yet. So back to our original Lovers card, it's a little different. At first glance, this card has an almost 3 of Cups vibe because there are 3 fairy friends and they're dancing in the flowers. So it looks like a very nice image. But when you look closer, one of them isn't as genuinely caught up in the moment as the other 2 are. Her face is turned away and her expression isn't as happy. So she also has this black snake that has wrapped itself around her. Now, there often is a snake shown in the Lovers card. The traditional Rider-Waite-Smith image for the Lovers card is basically like the Garden of Eden, and the snake is shown in a tree. Now, the Lovers card itself is about choices, and it's about making heart-based, love-based choices. The snake in the Lovers card represents devil energy, and that can be about influences that stop someone from making heart-based choices. Now, the devil energy can have its influence through lots of things, through fear, through control, through manipulation, through temptation, and so on. But the sense I'm getting here is that the devil's influence is stopping this fairy from experiencing the same joy as the others. So while those 2 can experience genuine joy, she can't. She can only seem happy. And it seems like her friends here are blissfully unaware of the fact that she isn't as happy as they are. The Strength card, which is the next card at the bottom of the deck, is obviously about having inner strength, and the imagery is typically about someone who is strong enough to tame a wild beast. In this deck, the beast is a fiery dragon, and it has caused a lot of destruction already. I feel like in this spread, this fiery dragon is actually symbolizing that devil energy. And so we're talking about someone here who has finally become strong enough to stand up to this devil energy in their life. It has definitely already caused a lot of damage in their life, and that's seen in this fire-ravaged scene that's behind this dragon. So this devil energy has destroyed many good things in this person's life. But now they're holding this orb of light in their hands, and the dragon's looking a little bit taken aback, like, what's that? And I think what this is that this person has found their power, and the devil really wasn't expecting that. The devil energy wasn't expecting that. So this person in this image, she's just got this little patch of land, but it's showing some plant growth that isn't happening anywhere else in this image. So this is fresh, new growth in this person's life. She's been planting seeds so that she can rebuild her life. And this devil energy would like to destroy that as well. But she's sort of saying, no, I won't let you destroy this too. I deserve to have happiness. In the past position of this tarot spread, we have the Two of Swords, which is about indecision and stuckness. And it's about someone who's determined to ignore all the guidance that's being given to them. Now, this fairy here is actually standing on a ledge, and because of the fact we've seen that this devil has been messing with her life, I feel like she's been pushed and pushed until she's ended up here on this ledge. Now, she knows she can't keep being pushed back, so she's tried to put some roots down here so that she can't be pushed back further. But really, this ledge is not a good place to grow some roots, is it? So the other thing I'm seeing is that she's also turned her back so that she doesn't have to see how close she is to the edge of this ledge. And there are some forces here trying to get her to move away from the ledge and towards safety. And those forces are represented by these two crows, but she's really not paying any attention to them. So as a past energy, this is really her in denial about what a bad situation she's in. And it could be that she's unaware or in denial about the fact that she's been forced into this precarious position. She just thinks she's doing her best in what has been a difficult life, but she's really not seeing that the reason her life has been so difficult is because this devil energy has been in the driving seat. I feel like there is so much that has not worked out for her, and it's because the devil energy has found a way to interfere with everything and mess things up for her. And I'm feeling like this devil energy has obviously been working through other people. So the devil has pushed people's buttons and made them act in ways that has caused this person problems and difficulties. And the fact that she has no color at all in this image is telling me that all of her joy, all of her life force has been, draining out of her because of these bad experiences that she's been having. Right above this tarot card is the Jade card, which reads Take Action. And I'm also seeing how this is a forest, but the focal point in this image is actually that sunlight that's right there in the middle of this image. And I feel like this is symbolizing illumination. So without this sunlight, this forest would be quite dark and limiting and a bit scary. And I'm almost getting an Eight of Swords feeling with that, of someone feeling confined and isolated and surrounded by all these trees. And they'd be feeling quite stuck in this darkness by themselves. And it's also giving me a dark night of the soul feeling, actually, when you think of it like that. But then at some point, this sunlight starts streaming in, and it's given this person a new perspective and hope. Now, jade is actually a crystal that relates to the heart chakra as well, and that's making me think of taking action that aligns with your heart. And that's actually the same message that the Lovers card carries. So I can definitely resonate a bit with this part, because I know from my own dark night of the soul experiences that it was changing how I made my choices that brought those dark nights to an end. So I started doing things or choosing things according to if they would bring me peace and happiness. And I turned away from things that didn't. So I stopped choosing things because they were the sensible choice or the smart choice or the best choice according to other people. I just started choosing what felt good to my soul. And I didn't feel like I needed to explain that to anyone else. So if that meant leaving a secure job so I could find something else, or distancing myself from negative people who were not having a good effect on my spirit, then I did trust that those decisions were the right decisions. I trusted that spirit would guide me towards more aligned people and more aligned experiences. And so that was me choosing things that were in alignment with my soul. And I guess we could call those heart-based, love-based choices. So yes, I do think this image on that jade card is quite significant. I think it was a turning point for this person. In the present energy, we can see that things have definitely changed. So we have the Chariot card, and this is another major arcana card, and it represents Cancerian energy. So here it looks like this fairy. She's got her color back, and she's taken action. She's on the move. She's actually on the back of one of those crows that was trying to help her before. So I feel like this is spirit carrying her up and away from danger. So in this image, she's also got a sword, and she has it meeting the lightning that might have hit her, and that lightning is being diverted away from her. And it's definitely interesting imagery because the fiery dragon was the devil energy, but now it looks like she has no fear of the fire at all. She knows how to protect herself. But it's actually bigger than that, because if you look at the oracle card above this chariot card, it's titled Fire Spirit with the keyword energy. So the fire spirit in that image isn't at all afraid of the lightning behind her, and she's actually created fire in her own hands. So that makes her, in this reading, as powerful as the devil energy, because she can also create fire. And so this devil energy that was causing her harm in the past, she can actually hold her own now with this devil energy. She can handle the fire that is sent her way, and she can even do things with it. So I was saying earlier that the devil energy was trying to cause problems for her by working through other people. Well, there's something coming up here about how she now knows when people are messing her around, and she's found a way to turn those things to her advantage. And I'm getting like this is like a game of strategy for her now. You know, she's like a chess player, so she's predicting the steps and she's planning her own moves. So it's like, well, if you're going to do that, allow me to surprise you with this counter move that I know that you're not expecting. Yeah, so she's got this ability now to fight fire with fire. So if she senses this energy trying to mess with her, she does something unexpected that's then going to mess with those plans, if you know what I mean. So if someone is acting in this devil energy trying to mess with her, she'll do something that will mess with them. So she's kind of fighting back. If they're trying to cause her problems, so she's basically causing them problems. So I'm seeing a big restoration in strength here, and maybe that's why we had that strength card. I think she knows now that the only way to stop this devil energy interfering in her life is to show it that it can't win, that she's not going to allow it to win. And so now we're moving into the cards in the future position. And it's not often the oracle cards also follow the past, present, future sequence, but they certainly do in this spread. And the way I can see that is we have a totally different color scheme in this future position and a totally different vibe. So these cards are definitely talking about a very different experience. The struggle is over when you look at these cards, because the tarot card is the Two of Cups. This is a card of soulmates and partnership. There were friends in that Lovers card we started with, but they weren't really friends who understood this person's struggles because they didn't even seem aware of them. Those friendships, I think, were much more superficial. But here in this Two of Cups card, the soulmates are shown as mermaids. The water does represent emotional depth, and they're in this water. So I feel like the friends of the future will be much stronger emotional connections. So these friends here in this scene are in the same water. Their hands are touching, their tails are touching, and they're looking very closely at each other's faces. So you could just know if something went wrong with either of them, the other would definitely see it and feel it and sense it. And now I'm seeing the Lovers card, the extra Lovers card that's to the right of this card, because there's also a couple there who are touching each other and looking closely at each other's faces. So it's that same dynamic coming through there. So this is about soulmates coming together. Now, in that Lovers card, there's a woman looking on and there's a snake looking on, and you get the sense that, those are the bad intentions. That's the devil energy. But in that Lovers card, these soulmates have chosen each other. So I feel like, that third person is probably representing the people who this devil, who the devil energy was using to prevent this outcome from happening. So the only reason these soulmates have come together is because of this person's determination to stand up to the devil. And with how hard the devil energy has tried to stop this person being happy, I think it's basically saying it's really important that they're happy. Good things will come from their happiness. And I'm also seeing how alike these two mermaids are. So it's very possible that the other person or people who will be the soulmates for this person have also had the devil energy trying to stop them from reaching this place of peace and happiness. So I feel like these soulmates, they would have had similar journeys, similar struggles. The last oracle card is titled Relaxation, and it has the key phrases peaceful pursuits and happy times. And it's so interesting that this person is being told to just focus on experiences that bring them peace and happiness. They're being told basically to live a very aligned life. And I'm also again feeling that it's so interesting that the devil didn't want this to happen for this person at all. So I feel like there's something about this person's alignment that was perceived by that devil energy as a significant threat. So this is a collective reading, and I guess it's for members of the collective who are drawn to watch this video. And as always, the gender pronouns are irrelevant. My mind just naturally reads the genders as they appear on cards. So this reading can be for anyone, and if it's resonating for you, I would take it as a sign to be very firm in your resolve to get yourself into alignment and stay there. Because if this devil energy has tried so hard to prevent that, it seems like it's especially important that you push forward with that. And when I asked myself, why is it so important that this person's not allowed to reach alignment, I was drawn back to the image of the two mermaids. So I don't think this is about what you can accomplish on your own, even if you have become a very powerful spiritual person. I think this is about how you being in alignment will mean that you will encounter other people who are just like you, people who have also discovered their spiritual power, people who are also living aligned lives. And as I said earlier, I was feeling that these are people who've also had to battle that devil energy trying to stop them. So you will understand them and they will understand you because you've both had the same struggles and had to learn the same lessons. You will form strong, aligned connections with these people. I'll try and finish even though my dog doesn't want to let me. So these people these relationships might be personal relationships as well as professional collaborations. And you'll just be able to help and support each other on your spiritual paths and with what you see as your spiritual purpose. So I guess that's what that devil energy doesn't want. It doesn't want light workers to become powerful and then find each other and start, integrating their powers and using their powers to support each other. This devil energy would rather target light workers early in their journey so that it can isolate them and weaken them and push them to the edge so that they feel that they have no options. And I think in this story, that devil energy was winning for a while. But then this person was awakened. And I'm drawn again to the sunlight entering the forest. That was the light of divinity, the light of source. And it came in to remind this person when they were in their dark night of the soul experience, it came in to remind this person of their own divinity, to remind them that they too hold this divine light inside them. And I think that's where this person found their strength. As an awakened light worker, they realized they had to fight to overcome this devil energy. And in that bonus lovers card, we do see the devil energy is still watching. And that's because it's always waiting for the moment of weakness or vulnerability where it can slither in and start to influence matters. And that's a reminder that strength has to be maintained. That's about remaining committed to staying in alignment with what you see as your spiritual path and purpose, and not allowing external forces to tempt you away or bully you into giving up or manipulating you into shifting directions. So even if it gets hard for you, you should do what you feel you should be doing, and you should keep doing it to the best of your ability. So I think the message is that even if you do feel like this devil energy has been overcome, it's probably always going to be lurking in the background, waiting for its chance. So be mindful of this and stay strong and stay aligned always. And isn't it interesting that as I've been trying to get this out, something has been making my dog bark. And so I have to wonder if that's devil energy again trying to get in the way of this message. So I will replay this just to see, just to make sure that you could hear everything I said. And if not, I'll be re-recording it. So take that, devil energy. I'm not going to let you stop me. Right, so here we are at the end of this reading. The tarot deck I used today is the Enchanted for Haxa Tarot. I think this is only available through Hay House now, but the version I've got is an indie version that I bought a long time ago, so I don't think you can get that one anymore. From what I've seen of the Hay House one, it looks very similar, except for the labeling at the bottom of the cards. It looks different there. But the Oracle card decks are the Secret Language of Color cards, the Sacred Forest Oracle, and the Energy and Spirit Oracle. And I chose selenite for our crystal today because it is calming and cleansing, and I felt like all these chaotic energies could benefit from that. All right, this is the last slide, and I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. If you've made it through the end, thank you very much. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, please show your support by liking the video or making a comment below. Please share the video if you think others would benefit from it. You can also show your support by subscribing to the channel, and thank you so much to everyone who is already subscribed. Your support means a lot. When you subscribe, there is a notification option, so you can ask to be notified of videos that I upload in the future. On the right hand side, there's a little thumbnail image of my Facebook blog page, so you can check that out if you're interested in supporting me on Facebook. And thank you for all your support. And that's it for this full moon reading. And I hope I'll see you again in another video.